Hey everyone, it's Johnny, your independent Scentsy consultant. Welcome back to my channel, and today we have a bunch of empties to cover. I have a bunch of Scentsy stuff and a bunch of not so Scentsy stuff. So we will dive right in and I will let you know my thoughts, opinions, and all of that. So let's start with things that I have gotten through from the Scentsy land. So first off, I got through a bar of Pacific Sandalwood. This is from our International Wax collection. And this is a beautiful vanilla sandalwood, bedroomy, slightly perfumey scent. But here's my problem. It's so incredibly light. And I knew it was lighter because I would have to use about, and to put in perspective, in like a bedroom, like a master bedroom size room, I had to use like half of this container. So like 4 out of 8 cubes, math is hard, to get a significant like sort of scent that was to the level where I was comfortable with smelling and not having to lean over and wonder, is there a scent in this room? So that being said, as much as I like this scent, I didn't love it so much that I absolutely need to keep it anymore. So it is coming out of my club, unfortunately, because it's so pretty, but I have so many great scents in my club that this just didn't make the cut this time around. But it is beautiful, and I do like it. Next, we have Apples and Oats. This is currently available, and this pleasantly surprised me. This is a kind of like a powerhouse. It lasts forever, but it's not like choke you out powerhouse. You definitely get apples. You definitely get that like dry oatsy sort of vibe, and it is so deliciously yummy, and I can't get enough of it. And I honestly, when I first started to warm it, I was like, oh, it's gonna be another apple and something fall scent. This is like apples and like bakery, like dry oatmeal. Oh, it smells so good. It's like those fresh oats when you just like pop open the container. Oh, so good. Cannot get over this scent. This is going in my club forever and ever and ever and ever. All right, next we have Snow-Kissed Cranberry. This is available also in a brick right now. And this is beautiful. This is a light, zingy, sweet, frozen, like pink cranberries sort of scent with like a hint of like woods in it. Very, very subtle hint, if any. It is really nice. It is, I will say though, more of a light to medium scent, and that's probably the only negative thing I have about it. I wish it was just a hair stronger. It's not like you can't smell it at all, but it's definitely on the light or to medium spectrum of scents rather than being a scent monster. But I do like it. I think it will probably go in my club once we switch to the spring-summer catalog so I don't lose it, but it is what it is. Next, I got through Salted Caramel Toffee. This is another one that's available that just came out from a brick, and this is exactly what you'd expect it to be. It is a buttery, slightly salted caramel noted, but mostly buttery toffee. So if you like toffee, but are not a huge caramel sort of scent person, you will love this because it is mostly more on the buttery side of caramel versus the caramelly side of caramel. Or I guess the sweet side. This is more on like the butter side. It is not super strong, so it's not like a scent monster of any sort, but it's also not super soft. So it's like a definite medium performer. And it does last all day, so it's a good long-lasting performer. Now, for me, this personally competes with something like Stroopwafel Delight, which is a very much dough, butter, and a pinch of cinnamon sort of scent. And that is a scent monster, and 1 cube will do you sort of thing. This one is like the medium sweet toffee version without like the dough note, without the cinnamon, more on just like the buttery goodness note. But because of that, it's not quite as strong, and as much as I do like this, and I'm not a huge caramel sort of scent person, I don't think this will make it into my club because I have Stroopwafel Delight in there, and that is a scent that I surprisingly love. So this, unfortunately for me, was like, oh, it was really nice, but it's not like head over heels for. Next, we got Frozen. This is A Dance of Autumn or something like that. A Dance of Autumn. Yep, I can read. This is from our Frozen 2 collection. This is the only bar that I didn't worm last fall, winter for whatever reason. And then I just held on to it until this fall. And I was like, I should take this out and warm it. It's a nice fall, woodsy, sort of fresh air vibe scent. It kind of reminds me of like a little bit like a couple of our other scents. I think like Autumn Road Trip or something, I think is the one that's coming to mind. And it also kind of reminds me of Sensational's Autumn Air, but like more in your face. But there's like a weird, for me, there's a weird like almost spice or leaf note on the bottom that just did something that I wasn't particularly fond of. It was nice, but it wasn't like yay right home about. So would I worm it again? Yes. Would I go out of my way to find it? Probably not. Next, I finished my bar of Almond Croissant, and I love this scent. It is what it says it is. It's an almond croissant. It's beautiful. If you want a great mix this scent with Hug in a Mug, and you get like this buttery chocolate croissant heaven. And it is amazing, and it's delicious, and it makes your mouth water. And I'm not a bakery person, but that scent combo did something magical. So on its own, I really enjoy it. Mixed with some different other fragrances, it really takes on a whole new level. So this is a great scent, and it does last all day for me. Next, I got through Feelin' Pine. This is from our holiday 3-pack of wax. And this is a pine scent. There's almost like a lemony note to this to me, I want to say. Or like a springy, not quite, it's not lemon to my knowledge, but it has that zingy sort of lemony under or overtone. And it does smell like pine. It's fairly authentic to me in terms of pine scents. But I'm not a huge like pine person. Like I'd rather have cedar or spruce or balsam. Balsam is so great. But it was good. I would worm it again if I had more, but I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way. It's not going to go in my club. Plus there's just so many great scents. You have to kind of pick at some point. Got through a bar of hazelnut frosting. This is no longer available. It is what you think it is. It's a sweet icing frosting sort of scent with that nutty hazelnut note. And it's great. It performs really well. I had it in my club for a while, and after much deciding and getting through this bar, I just decided that it didn't quite make the cut. It was great, but not enough for me to keep it in my club, because I have some other scents in there that needed those valuable spots. And my club can't just be infinitely large. All right, the next one we have is I'm Snow Over It. This is like a wintry scent. It's so hard to describe. There's like a fruity note to it. It's a fresh note to it. There's almost like a woody sage or something sort of note. And I don't like sage, but I like this. I don't know. This is crazy good. I didn't know what to expect with it. And it totally describes 2020. I am snow over it. But I will put this in my club, and it's not just because it's ironic for this year. It is a really awesome scent, and it lasts and lasts and lasts. So, highly recommend trying that if you like a fresh, but very complex, sort of unique scent for the winter season. Next, we got through Best in Snow. And I always confuse this with Slay All Day, so I may have reversed these. And I have to smell the other one to try to see if I remember. I think I'm gonna mix them up, but there's one of these is supposed to be, I think Slay All Day is the one that's supposed to be like fresh air vibes, and the other one is like just mint, mint, mint. I want to say Best in Snow is like the mint one. And it was nice. It was refreshing. It was a nice, fresh mint sort of vibe. Lasted all day. It was nice. No problems with it, but it wasn't anything particularly like mind-blowing. The other one, which I think is Slay All Day, They just smell so similar in just whatever's left in here. I think is this one. There's this one. This one has like a fresh, mountainy air sort of thing vibe, whatever. I think this is it. Anyways, whichever one has the mountain air vibes in it, that is the one I like. I will have to look it up. Don't know why I can't think of it for the life of me right now, but it was delicious. My only issue was that I felt like it kind of futzed out a little early on in the day, like midway through the day rather than lasting the whole day. But that could have just been my nose playing tricks on me. I have another couple bars of these, so you'll probably see this again in another warming review, and I can actually let you know if this was the correct one that I'm like raving about or it's the other one. But if you can't wait, in the scent notes on our website, whichever one says like mountain air or fresh air in it, that's the one that I'm talking about. Moving on, ramble over. I got through half of Marshmallow Mint Cocoa. Still have the other part to go through. This is so good. It is very much, you do get that mint note though. So if you're not huge on mint, you will probably be, at least in the beginning of the warming stage, a little bit overwhelmed by the mint scent. It does fade and calm itself a little bit as you start warming it a little bit more. You do get that nice marshmallowy sweetness. You do get that cocoa note, but it's not overbearing. There's another actual that we're going to talk about in a minute, sort of like cocoa and mint scent that I warmed from another company. This one is definitely more in the minty, sweet, fresh vibe with cocoa as the undertone, whereas the other one that we'll get to is more on the cocoa vibe. Oh, but this is great. It went in my club. I bought a brick of it. I might buy another brick of it because it's that good. Now, there are two scents that I absolutely adore coming back in this Bring Back My Bar on Monday. Peppermint Dreams and Marshmallow Mint. So it's not quite the same chocolatey note that Peppermint Dreams has. That's more of like a deeper, almost cakey note to me. And it's not quite as sweet and marshmallowy as Marshmallow Mint is on its own, which is a more light, sweet sort of scent with mint involved. With this one is kind of like you blended the two, but it's more of like a milky chocolate vibe. And it's definitely more of the cocoa rather than like a cupcakey sort of note. But it's really good. One other consultant made this sound, describe this as kind of like the Junior Mints version of a scent versus like, let's say, a Yorkshire Patty, which is more like what Peppermint Dreams is. Oh, but it's good. It's really good. And it performs really well. Like 2 cubes filled up my whole like living, dining, kitchen, like open U-shaped space. So highly recommend that one. Another one in our brick section, Crimson Berry Christmas. This surprised the shiznizzle out of me. Oh my goodness. I didn't want to swear on camera right now. I was really worried about the note because there's like a burst of sweet bakery cinnamon or something written in there. But then it's supposed to be like crisp winter apple and bright red berries or something like that. Oh my goodness. You do get the cinnamon, but it is a sweet cinnamon. So it's like a bakery sweet cinnamon. There's no red hot cinnamon going on, which I don't mind bakery cinnamon. But can we talk about the red berries and the aquatic, wintry, like crisp apple note in here? This is such a beautiful fragrance and it lasts all day long and it doesn't lose power. Shocking to me because a lot of times fruit scents kind of fizzle once the fruit notes disappear. This is going all day long, no problem smelling the whole thing. Oh my goodness. I would almost say that if you could only pick one brick, it would really be, for me, a toss-up between Crimson Berry Christmas and Marshmallow Mint Cocoa. But this was such a pleasant surprise, and it combined elements of a couple different scents from other wax companies that I really liked, and kind of like threw them all together in one. Now, I would have maybe liked a slightly less cinnamon in here. It's not overwhelming, but you do get the sweet cinnamon burst, and it is part of the whole scent. So if you don't like cinnamon at all, probably not going to be as wild about this, but the berry notes and the apple notes and the like aquatic note really take front and center for that. I got through half of a bar of Arctic Kiss. This is the December scent of the month coming up. I talked about this in the scent and warmer of the month video, but this is heavenly. It's like a dewy, lush, wintry, fresh scent. It's like a fresh, clean, slightly sweet winter scent. It's not overly minty. It's not overly vanilla. It's like hints of both, and there's like that dewy, aquatic freshness going on here. Almost like a green melon. The mid notes in there that it's like green melon and some sort of like lush green sort of thing. It definitely gives towards that. I love this. It lasts. It's a great thrower, at least for me. Definitely going in my club. All right, now let's move on to, I had two things that are not wax, but are Scentsy. I got through a, what is this, fragrance mist of shimmer. And I've never tried fragrance mist before, and I was just curious, like, what is a fragrance mist versus like a body spray or like cologne or whatever. And you know what? This is really refreshing for the days when I went post-beach, like, and you want to, like, you know, calm down from lying in the sun. This felt refreshing. But in terms of, like, actual longevity of fragrance, I don't think fragrance mists are really designed to give you a longevity of throw. If you want that, you really need a perfume or a cologne, not a fragrance mist. But if you just need a little spritz pick-me-up, this is great. And it feels refreshing. I can see why people like fragrance mists. Personally, I don't think it's something that I will add to my fragrance collection, at least very infrequently, if that. But you could probably also just mist this wherever. I mean, it smells nice, and it doesn't last forever, but, well, it does last. It's a nice little burst. Got through a sugar scrub in Pumpkin Cinnamon Swirl, not Squirrel. Yikes. This scent, I really enjoy. And again, I'm not a big cinnamon person, but I really like Pumpkin Cinnamon Swirl as a scent. It just, I don't know what it is about it. And I'm not huge on pumpkin and I'm not huge on cinnamon, but this scent does magical things for me. I will say, I'm not sure that I personally want to smell like a pumpkin cinnamon swirl, but I would really want to eat a pumpkin cinnamon swirl or have my apartment smell like it. But it was a great sugar scrub. It worked nicely. I didn't mind the scent, obviously. Just maybe not sure how I feel about smelling like a pumpkin cinnamon roll swirl thing, whatever. But it was good. All right, on to non-Scentsy things. Let's get into the wax. Let's get going with this. I tried, one of my neighbors brought over as like a surprise, a Amazon rainforest scent. This is from, I want to say like Living Colors or something. It's a Big Lots wax. It's described as lavender, juniper, sage, and moss. This doesn't smell unpleasant, but it does not smell like lavender, juniper, sage, and or moss at all. It literally just smells like Febreze to me when I put it in the cleaners. Or in the warmers. Not an unpleasant scent, but smelled nothing like any of the notes that it claimed to have. Nowhere near Amazon Rain from Scentsy by any means. So if you're like, oh, maybe it could be a dupe. Absolutely not. This is literally just smelled like Febreze. But it threw pretty decently, so can't really argue about that. Just didn't smell anything like what it's supposed to. I got through Sensational's Autumn Air. This is a beautiful, like, autumnal fresh air scent. A little sweetness to it. You kind of get that light sweet leaves. It's beautiful, like almost an apple-y note or freshness in the air. It's really nice. It's not super strong. It's not a scent monster. It's one of those ones that like lingers and you get that air of freshness in the room, but it's not distinctly like, whoa, I can smell autumn air. So in that sense, I really enjoy it. But if you're looking for something a little stronger, this may not be the one for you. All right. Next, we got through Sensational's Pumpkin Apple Muffins, and I didn't know what to expect with this, and I adore it. And I'm going to stock up on this because they don't have a club at, Sensationals for wax like Scentsy does. You get the pumpkin, you get the apple, probably even more than the pumpkin, you get the apple, and then you get this, like, bakery note, like this bready sort of muffiny note, this warmth. It is so good. It lasts all day. No problems with performance. beautiful scent, and it's not something that's going to stink you out. And I think it's fairly unoffensive in terms of scents. So if you wanted something that was autumnal or wintry without being overbearing and you have guests over, which you maybe shouldn't have during this whole year, but if you do, this would be such a nice scent to have, and I really enjoyed that. Much more than I thought I was. Autumn Valley from Sensationals, however, I have mixed feelings on. So it's described as golden amber and balsam. I like golden amber. I like balsam. Golden amber and balsam together, however, not sure I have feelings for. There is, like, you get the balsam, you get like this foresty note to this, and you get the amber note, but I feel like the amber's throwing it off. Like there's like a weird sweet richness from the amber that throws off the balsam for me. It's just, if this scent combination takes two scents that I really love in their own respective rights and pairs them in a way that I question whether I like either scent, which is strange. It does perform really well. Just, it's not for me. I tolerated it, but at some point I was finally like, nope, and pulled it out of the warmers. Like, I got through like 2/3 of a day, and then I was like, that's enough. Next, Frosty Winter Nights. This is from Better Homes and Gardens. Now, my roommate smelled like the pine note or the forest note to this, and like minty notes. When I smell this, all I get is toothpaste or like mouthwash. Like that's all it smells like to me. I don't smell woods. I don't smell pine. I don't smell like spruce or anything like that. All I smell is mouthwash or toothpaste or something. So Frosty Winter Nights should just be renamed like, I don't know, Colgate Pro Health, in my opinion. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe my nose just does not pick up on the wintry pine notes, because my roommate clearly did. But yeah, will not be repurchasing that one. Cedarwood and Sage. This one pleasantly surprised me. I'm not a... Okay, little weird fuzzy thing. I'm not a big sage person, but I do really like cedar. And for the majority of when this is warming, I absolutely adore this scent because it's mostly cedar heavy with sage in the back end. Now, once the cedar finally starts teetering and the lingering sage that's left, it becomes, okay, I can tolerate it. But for the majority of the warming time, which is most of the day, it smells delightful, and I will be purchasing more of this. Then we had Mainstays Hazelnut Cream. I have no interest in this scent. Yeah, no, it smells like this weird fake coffee creamer almost to me. Like, it doesn't... You do get, like, the hazelnut nuttiness. It's kind of like a less sweet version of Scentsy's hazelnut frosting. And I actually smell them kind of side by side. They're similar. Scentsy's has more of that frosting, sugary sweetness. And for some reason, it just works better. This almost has that, like, weird, milkier vanilla scent. And it just doesn't do anything for me. Like, if I had to pick Scentsy's version of hazelnut whatever, hands down, by a long shot, knocks this one out of the park. But you do get a hazelnut note out of this. So it wasn't like a complete womp, but not for me. Apple Pumpkin from Mainstays. This is whatever you think it might smell like, apple and pumpkin. And a little bit of maybe spice. Like, I get a zing of like almost like a cider note in here. But it's apple and pumpkin, and it's very nice. Not much just to say about that. Mainstays Amaretto and Blood Orange. This was an interesting scent. I felt like the orange was a little bit too citrusy for my particular liking. But I did appreciate the amaretto sweetness kind of toning that in. I wouldn't necessarily buy this again, but it was an interesting combination, and I liked to see what they were trying to do with it. Just for me personally, it didn't quite work out. Next, I got through a Cozy Bonfire, and I don't know what the brand is, but this was also available at Corona Candles at Walmart for a limited time. Ooh. And this smells so nice. It's like a light, smoky, bonfire-y scent. Slightly sweet, but it was so light for me. And it wasn't until much later into melting it that it had like a burst of fragrance and then it was gone again. So I found that particularly strange because usually when I put like a bonfire or, you know, firewood sort of smell, smoky smell into warmer, like 1 cube goes a long way. With this one, I put the whole bar and I was like, where's the fire? Like, there's no fire or smoke. So, I don't know. It didn't really work for me, but it smells really nice in the clamshell. Next, we have Sugar Cookie. This was another one from the Corona Candles collection. I liked this. To be fair, I haven't warmed a bar of Scentsy Sugar Cookie in its entirety, so I couldn't give you an honest comparison of this relative to Scentsy's, but there is a note to this that I was not particularly fond of later on that as it warmed. But it is a cookie smell. I think it's more of like a dry, I think there's like a hint of a burnt note to me that got me a little bit. But it wasn't unpleasant. Just not particularly a huge fan. Sweet Apple from Mainstays. This was like a candy apple smell, if I remember. Yeah, it smelled like an artificial, almost green apple to me. Yeah, almost fully on the verge of candied apples to me. Not a fan. Mulled cider. This is Mainstays as well. This one smells like cider. It's not like an apple cider. It's not a pumpkin cider. It's just cider spices. And it smells decent if you like a more spice-noted cider scent without specifically like a heavy apple or pumpkin influence. You want more of the cider portion of it. This is definitely for you. I was okay with it. I'm not huge on the spice category in general for scents, as you'll see in the next 3 rejects. But if you like that, you might like that scent because it has like an effervescence from the cider note. Just like Christmas, I only got through a cube of this, and I am giving this to a friend who likes spice scents. This is like a craft store smell. That's the easiest way I can describe it. It's more on like the drier note. It kind of reminds me of our Hobby Lobbies versus like a Michael's if we want to get really particular. Legit smells like a Hobby Lobby to me, which is strange because, but to me, to me, Hobby Lobby and Michael's have distinctly different craft store smells. This is more like Hobby Lobby craft store versus Michael's. Anyways, wasn't for me, but it did perform well. Also, apple and incense from Better Homes and Gardens. This is an interesting combination. You do get the red apple, but you also get incense. And I'm not a huge incense person. And it was an interesting combo. It wasn't as pungent as it smells on cold, but I still am not a huge fan of it. Like, there's just something about the combination that just felt off to me. So, again, not in my wheelhouse, but it did perform pretty decently. And you did get the vibe of the red apple, and it was almost like a fresh red apple. Not quite juicy, but fresher red apple, and then like the incense note. Then we had Better Homes and Gardens Butterscotch and Allspice, and this I do not like. No. I actually don't mind it on warm. In the cold sniffing, this smells like baby vomit. On cold. On warm, it smells like this semi-artificial buttery butterscotch sort of scent, and you get the allspice is a nicer spice twist on it rather than like cinnamon or something. I don't think it personally works for me. I do like butterscotch as a flavor. I don't mind allspice. I don't think that this particular blend is something that I'm wild about, but I appreciate the creativity with the scent. I will say that much. All right, I got 3 more. I've got Kringle's Candles Kringle scent, and This is like a manly, sort of musky, sort of woodsy scent. It's like almost like a musty set of drawers with like cedar or something. It smells nice. It's a little bit mature man smell, rather than sophisticated modern, you know, whatever socialite man smell. This is almost like grandpa muskiness a little bit. It's a nice scent. I just didn't think one way or the other about it. I don't think I would get it again, but I also didn't dislike it. Peppermint Cocoa, however, this was an interesting one, and it performed really well. This is also from Kringle. So we talked about Marshmallow Mint Cocoa from Scentsy. That's more like sweet and more focused on the mint note, rather than the cocoa. This is more on the cocoa heavy side with peppermint overtones. So if you're more for the chocolate component, this would be probably a better choice. If you're more for the mint and the sweet, the Scentsy one is probably going to give you better bang for your buck. But both performed equally well. Both lasted really well in the same areas that I warmed them. No complaints there. But they're definitely different in terms of what the focus of the scent main component is. So this is more cocoa-y. That one is more on the minty, slight sweet note. And then I got through Coconut Snowflake. And this one is a very forgettable sort of like cookie with light hint of shaved coconut. And I didn't think too strongly, again, one way or the other. I didn't dislike it, but I also didn't love it. Don't think I would go out of my way to repurchase this. But it wasn't an unpleasant scent. And it did last for a good portion of the day. It wasn't quite as nice as the cocoa scents, but it lasted. And finally, I got through a lotion of Macintosh Apple from Goose Creek candle. And I just want to eat this. I want to eat myself every time I put this on. It was little goes a long way, and they described it as a mouth-watering aroma of a crisp Macintosh apple fresh from the orchard. I don't know how they did it, but they're so spot on with it. And this scent, I wish I had like mountains of it, because a little just makes me smell like fresh, juicy apples. And then I start just mouth watering and want to like bite into myself, even though that would not taste so good or appley. Anyways, that is the end of all the empties. I will stop ranting on and off about these reviews, but I do hope that this was helpful. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. It does really help, and I look forward to seeing you in our next videos. Take care, guys. Bye.